What up, YouTube? This is Fix1, and making an updated version of Cyber Dragon Therions. So yeah, I got the card I need finally, but I'm still looking for the evenly match. But anyways, I'm gonna show you my main deck of my my Cyber Dragon Therion, and then my extra deck. And for the now for the monsters, I run like 3 Cyber Dragons. Usually I use it for materials, for like link material, exceed material, or fusion. I mean, how would they say fusion? I mean, yeah, but exceed, fusion, or link. Yeah. Next, I run like 3 Cyber Dragon cores. Of course, like he's a core of this deck. Like, he's a searcher for spells and trap. He's also good in the graveyard. Like, if he's already been in your graveyard on your next turn, like you could banish this from your graveyard and special summon any Cyber Dragon monster from your deck. But his effect's only once per turn. But if you have another copy in your hand while you use this graveyard effect and you normally summon him, his effect won't work. Next, I play 3 Cyber Dragon Hers. He's like a searcher. Like, whenever he's sent to the graveyard, like anyways, or get detached as mid-turn and sent to the graveyard, anyway in the when he's sent to the graveyard, like by battle, or just get from the deck sent to the graveyard, you could search for a Cyber Dragon from your graveyard or deck. But if this one's in your graveyard, you could bring this back to your hand, because whenever every Cyber Dragon monster is in the graveyard is treated as Cyber Dragon. Next, I won 1 copy of Nastru. Like, his effect is like, like you could special summon it by discarding a monster to special summon him. Also, when he's like normal or special summon on the field, you could special summon a machine type monster from your grave with the attack of 21 or 21 defense. But it just locks you from your extra deck from machines. Like, you can only special summon machine type monster from your extra deck. That's what it locks. But most of my extra deck is just machine. Next monster I play is 1 Cyber Dark Chimera. Like, he's a searcher for Power Bond. And when you search, sorry for the messenger, but when you search for a Power Bond by his effect, your Power Bond becomes like a Miracle Fusion. You can fusion something from your hand, field, or graveyard. But if it's on the graveyard, like, you have to banish it. But if it's in your hand, if a Cyber Dragon is from your hand or field, you can just send it in the graveyard. Next monster I run 2 Galaxy Soldiers. He's a very staple for Cyber Dragons. Like, you could discard a light monster to special summon him in the face up defense. And search when he's special summoned, like, you could search for another copy of him. But the combo is, if you discard a hers and special summon him, be sure to, like, make like a chain 1 on him and chain 2 on the hers. So it would be like you'd be searching for a Cyber Dragon from the deck and himself from the deck too. Next monster I won 1 Kaiju. Like, to stop the boss monster, you could just tribute a really hard boss monster and special summon on the field. And he's also a light machine type monster. But he's like a 33 beater. But you can also, like, use him as a fusion material, like you summon like a Cyber Dragon. Like, every Cyber Dragon monster, the baby ones, whenever it's on the field or graveyard, it's treated as Cyber Dragon. You could contact Fusion on this one to make Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. Next, I run like two Therion King regulars. He's on the negate, like whenever a machine type a machine or a Therion monster is in your grave, you selected it and you special summon him, and then you equip it to him. So like, you know, whenever your opponent activates like any card effect, you can just tribute it to negate the activation. Also, here's a floating effect. When you select Cyber Dragon and equip it, you can also use Cyber Dragon to contact Fuse. That's what it's a floating effect is. That's why I run Therion Kings. He's pretty expensive, but it's worth running it. And now, lastly, is our hand trap, which is 3 ashes, which is preventing your opponent from, you know, like touching the deck. Now that's it for the monster. Now onto the spell. For the spells, I run 3 copies of Cyber Emergency. Search for, like, you know, Cyber Dragon from your deck, and like you can only activate it once per turn. But what's good about it is, like, when you activate this, like, you know, whenever like your opponent like activate the card effect on the field, like, you know, negate and destroy. When it's negate and destroyed, you can discard a card, bringing this back to your hand from the grave, and you can reactivate it again. So that's what's so cool about Cyber Emergency. Next spell card, I run like two machine duplication. Like all the baby Cyber Dragon, like I said, like, you know, they're all treated as Cyber Dragon. Of course, they have the attack, like, you know, under 500 attack. And you just activate this, and then you just bring out 2 original Cyber Dragon from your deck, and you can also exceed summon with them. So I run 2 of them. Next, I run single copy of Cyber Pirate. I was gonna run 2, but, you know, 1's enough, because, you know, I used to run 2 when Verte was around, but now Verte is banned, so I can only run 1. Like, what's good about with Parapine, like, you can also search for any light machine type, but only if your Cyber Dragon is in the grave. You can search for Kaiju or Galaxy Soldier. Next, I play 1 Cyber Rev system. It's like a Monster Reborn of Cyber Dragon, except, like, you know, you could like special summon a Cyber Dragon from your grave or your hand, and it cannot be destroyed by a card effect, and the effect stays permanently. Next, I run 1 Power Bond for fusion summoning, like Rampage Dragon if I want to go OTK. It's like if you have it in your hand, but you can't you can use it in the graveyard unless you have Chimera. Like, you know, if it's searched by Cyber Dark Chimera. 1 Cyber Lord Fusion. Like, you could, like, you know, contact Fuse with this thing. Like, you know, it's a quick play, but, you know, you see the, like, you have to fuse the Cyber Dragon from, like, either like on the field or the banished area, and shuffle it back to your deck and fusion summon like a Rampage Dragon. But it locks you, like, only a fusion summon that's fused with this can attack, but the rest of the monster cannot attack. But the good thing about Rampage Dragon, it can attack 3 times. That's what's good. Also, I run like 3 Cyber Dark Ram to search for Cyber Dark Chimera. And it's also a continuous spell card. What it does is, like, you know, like I said, it search for Cyber Dark Chimera. It also gives you another edition of normal summon, but it has to be a Cyber Dark monster to give you another edition of normal summon. Next spell card, I run 3 Therion Deck Coliseum, which is a field spell for Therion. What it does is, like, you know, when you activate the field spell, helps you search for Therion regulars from the deck to your hand. But if they ask you, don't worry about it. There's some ways to bring the Therion to your hand. All you gotta do is just bring out the weakest monster on the field and attack the biggest monster. Of course, you gotta take the damage calculation, but during the damage step, you could send a Therion card from the deck to the grave. And also, any monster, any monster is destroyed by battle, you can add a Therion King regulars from the grave to your hand. Yeah, so that way, you could go around Ash. Okay, now for the stable spell card. I want to cross out Designator. What it does is it helps you well, the reason I run two of them because there's so many decks running really stable hand trap, it could stop Infinity and Perms, or the ironic hand trap Ash. So yeah, I run two of them because running three is too much. Next spell card I run is 3 Forbidden Droplets. Yeah, this is the reprinted of Droplets. It came out in the new Tourist Pack. So I run 3 Droplets. I was gonna get the secret rare ones, but someone already bought it from the store. So instead, I'll get the reprinted version. Which is look at. Get it? Next, I run 1 card battle grade, stop the hand trap, and 1 terraforming to search for the field spell. Last but not least are the trap card, but I don't have that much of the trap card. I run 1 cybernetic overflow. What it does is this is a non-targetable destruction card. If you have Cyber Dragon on the field, graveyard, or hand, you can banish it, but it has to be a different level of Cyber Dragons. What it does is for example, I banished 3 Cyber Dragon monsters, and I could pop any card. It could be a back row or monsters, and it doesn't target. And lastly, then are the 3 imperms. Negate the monster's effect. Well, that is it for the main deck. Now for the extra deck. For the link, I want 1 Armorage to help me to bring 1 Cyber Dragon from the graveyard, either the hers or core. Mostly core, because core's effect always when it's normal, so I could just search. It's because it helps me send the grave, and also you could tribute this card to select your monster, preventing getting destroyed by card effect. Then next I run 1 Cyber Dragon Seeker. He's a pumper. You can only activate you can only transfer the attack to pump it if you're if you're any machine, any machine type monster that's over an attack of 21, you can use it to pump it up. So yeah, run 1. Next I run 2 Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. He's an overkill. He's a double foolish for Cyber Dragons. But it has to be any light machine type monster. When you send 2 machine monster in your grave, he could attack 3 times. So yeah, I run 2 of them. Then I run 2 Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. For contact fusion. And he's also level 8, I could bring out 2 Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, faster, so I could exceed. And I'll show you which one I could see for. The next fusion I run is 2 Chimeric Mega Fleet. What it does is if I control a Cyber Dragon, I could contact fuse like my opponent's like a monster from the extra monster zone. It doesn't matter if it's a machine or not. It says one Cyber Dragon monster plus one monster in the extra monster zone. So yeah, it's only for that. That's what's good. If you like, if your opponent controls monster in the monster extra zone, that's what's good about it. And lastly, I run one Invoke Megaba. Yeah, a lot of people question why you're running this. Because I'll show you why, but I'll show you that one later on. Like, you know, after I... Okay, I'll show you later on why I run this. The next card I run is... Okay, and onto the Exceeds. I run one hard regular Dragon Titanic Galaxy. Which I call it Hope. Well, it helps me, like, you know, it negates my opponent's spell activation, negate it, and then just take it and put it in the material. And also, what's so good about it is, like, you know, if my opponent attacks, like, you know, one of my weak monster, here's the combo is, if I have a field spell, like, you know, if my opponent trying to attack this, attack like any other monster, it's like, nope, I'm gonna detach and make it attack this instead. And also it's a rank 8, like, you know, if I have like regulars in the cemetery, I just detach out regulars to put in the grave. And then when my opponent trying to attack this, the monster gets destroyed and then add regulars back to my hand. That's the combo for it. Next Exceed, I run one Zeus. Just to nuke the field. And I run like two Cyber Dragon Infinity. Which he's a sucker, and also he's a non-negate. Okay, now remember that the Invoke Megaba before I talk about why I run him? Because of this Cyber Dragon Nova. Like if my opponent, like, you know, if they need brew me, like, you know, when I have this or Solemn, Nova doesn't care about the Solemn. But it's either way, if this card is sent to the graveyard, not from the field to the graveyard, if it's sent to the graveyard by opponent's card effect, I could special summon a fusion machine type monster from my extra deck, which is Invoke Megaba, which is he is a light machine. So that's why I run Invoke Megaba. And now for a special bonus, I'm gonna show you my side deck. Most of the side deck I just put it in is just all about the floodgate. Okay, I'm gonna show you the monster. I run like two Nibiru's to stop the swarms, like, you know, if my opponent like starts swarming. Or if I Galantia, that's only for, like, you know, if I turn against like Tri-Brigades, which they always like banishing a lot. And like I run 3 token collectors. Like I see everybody running Soul, so like I use this against Soul because they always end up having tokens. And then I run like 2 Endless Engine for Therions. Like these things are good for the grave, and also you can activate this to send like 1 Therion card from the deck to the graveyard. Could be a Therion King or the field spell. And also when it's still in the graveyard, you could select a Therion card from the grave, either like a Regulus or the field spell. Add it. It's either you want to add this to your hand or they add the select Therion card to your hand. But if you select like a Regulus or a field spell, this thing goes on the bottom of the deck, so it recycles every time. Okay. Next, I run 3 rivalries. Like, you know, I use it against Despia because Despia they run different type of monsters. That's why I run this. And lastly, I run D barriers to stop like whatever, like, you know, Soul or Despia. Like you could call synchros or fusion, so like your opponent cannot fusion summon or synchro summon. Well, that's it for the my Cyber Therion deck upgraded version. I hope you enjoyed this video and leave a comment, like, you know, you have any suggestion. So yeah, like if you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button and I will see you in the next video.